Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7. This is going to be a video on my gear. So I'm going to show you all the gear changes I did over this course of free equipment removal. I honestly think this is the best I've ever done, and it's the first time I've left free equipment removal and actually been happy, you know? It's the first time I've been like, wow, I got stuff done and things went well. So I'm really excited to show you what my units look like right now, and you can tell me they're trash in the comments. I'm fine. I'm also gonna try to let you guys decide who I build of a bunch of other units, because I am planning to build a bunch of units for World Boss, and I'm not sure who yet. So let's just sort by CP and go down the list, and we'll kind of talk about why I went with certain things. So returning champion, Arbiter Vildred. He is now sitting at this set instead of a counter set. The counter set was doing work on my defense, but I was just so infuriated every time I used him on offense. And also, he didn't farm that well with the counter set. And that's honestly like my favorite part about Arbiter Vildred is how fast he farms. So these stats could be better. 9.5k HP, 160 speed. I wanted as close to 100% crit chance as I possibly could. Unfortunately, I could only get 50%. We've also got 4100 attack, 270 crit damage here. A little bit of effectiveness. I'll go through the gear as well, just so you can kind of see here. There's a couple pieces that are super lacking, and you can see where I'm missing my stats. Like specifically, my helms are always really lackluster. There's no attack percent on here. There's no real anything. This is just not a good helm, but my helms are so unfortunate that I can't really keep it up in any way. There's my chest as well. I'm also using Moonlight Dreamblade. I thought about using Basket, but if I think about the times I lost to a Vildred, it was always because I was too lazy to switch, and then I got Dreambladed and lost. So I'm gonna bank on people being too lazy to switch against me, and that's why I went with that set. As for my SSB, I have not changed her yet. I think I can make her better, but honestly, I'm just in love with this build. It's working out so well. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got attack, it's got crit damage, it's got a ton of HP-ish, a decent amount of defense. I'm just overall pretty happy with it. There's a couple pieces that could be much better. Like, I don't think my SSB needs 41% ER, especially with an immunity set. So I would love to take that off if possible, but it's kind of hard with these sets here, especially when your two main pieces roll ER. We're also using Rengar's special drink. I have no idea what my other options are. This is just the one I've been using. This is also a tester here. This is my Violet. He's got 213 speed, 3k attack, 15.5k HP, 850 defense, 0 ER, 0 effectiveness. That's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. As for him, he's sitting at this piece here. I could get his crit rate up a little bit, but using him on my defense, I feel like he's going to be brought in. People are going to bring stuff like Amont Morency and Crowl against him, so he's going to get that 15% extra crit chance, which is why I decided 84% was okay. So this is his weapon. His helm is pretty solid for him. Again, no attack. I'm very much missing attack percent on all of my helms. My chest is something that could be fixed. A little bit of defense, a little bit of HP, a little bit of speed, a little bit of crit chance. We've got a neck, which again could be much better as well. The weapon is insane for him, IMO, and then the boots as well. And he is using Violet Talisman. I'm not sure if Violet Talisman or Moonlight Dreamblade is going to be better, but I know because my Vildred has Moonlight Dreamblade that I had to use a Talisman somewhere. And also with 213 speed, he's going to be able to proc 2 turns of this pretty much right off the bat. So he's going to get a base 19% attack and evasion basically right at the start of the gate. So I'm okay with that. As for Fein here, she's sitting at 4k attack, 11.5k HP. It was really important for me to get my Fein's HP and defense up. Basically 0 speed, basically 50% crit rate, 25 crit damage, some effectiveness. She's sitting on a health slash double crit, or health slash crit slash unity set here. Pretty solid pieces of gear all around. I'm really happy with her. I love getting her defensive stats up. She's also using portrait. I wasn't sure which to use on her. I have a bunch of warriors built, and I kind of had to prioritize who got what artifacts, so that's kind of why she's sitting like this. Unfortunately, her skill 3 isn't max, so she's missing 25% damage. But it is what it is, and she does kill most things, so that's kind of awesome. And the star of the show, the one that actually surprised me my most in the Guild War I did yesterday, was Melissa. Melissa was by far my MVP in Guild Wars. She's running Chatty for a little bit of survivability. She's got a crit weapon, she's got a crit helm, and also when I went through building my units, I found that these two pieces of gear, my weapon and my helm, were by far holding back basically every single one of my units. So now I know after doing this what I really need to focus on. It's not that this is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but there's no like HP. It's still a 67 piece of gear. My weapon is not very good. Like, if you can see, I don't care about speed on this build whatsoever. I plan to boost her. That's why she's got 81% crit. She's very often going to be paired with somebody like Oxlots or regular lots. So the speed is almost useless on this. So I'm basically 100% using this piece of gear for like crit chance, 4 crit chance and 16% attack. That's how bad my crit weapons are. We've then got our chest in, really solid chest. I don't think this is the best option for her either, but it was just what I had available. And I feel like this should go in a bruiser or somebody instead, but it's just where I ended up being. I think effectiveness is very important on her. I'm definitely way too low on effectiveness. This is her ring, and this are her boots. So she hits like an absolute truck. She hits so flipping hard. She was doing so well all day long when I was using her. Really happy. A lot of people ask why I don't use Caladra to combine with Curse. The reason being is if you don't land Curse, you're basically just bodied, right? You're just gonna get bullied to death, and there's nothing you can do about it. And also, if there's another debuff up there like Defense Break, you're gonna one-shot everything anyway, right? So Chatty adds survivability at all times basically, whereas if you use Caladra, if you miss your Curse, you're donezo. And you miss your Curse like 99% of the time. As for Guider Aether, I have not tried him out yet. 4.5k attack, 181 speed, 10k HP. A little low HP, but it is honestly flipping impossible to get mages with high HP. He's using Etika's Scepter. I'll go through the gear as well. I would actually like to trade away some of this crit rate, crit damage on my attack gear for defensive stats, but I just don't have it. Like, if this helm had HP here instead of crit chance and crit damage, I'd be super happy, but it's just not what I have available. For his build, I was primarily focusing on attack percent, speed, and HP. I wasn't really caring about crit rate, crit damage, just because if I did go that route, there was no way I was making him like tanky enough to survive anything. And granted, he's not tanky enough to survive anything as is. We then have our Cerrado built by Athena. We let Athena decide this gear. 86% crit rate with Hellcutter. The best I could do. I'll go through the gear as well. 5k attack, 130 speed, 86% crit rate, 252 crit damage. I tried to build the double Oxlots team, or the double Lots team, but it turns out if I regular Lots my Cerrado up after Oxloting her, she doesn't go next because it's only 80%, and I need to skill up my regular Lots, and I lost that Guild War, so that's unfortunate. Lucky dice here. As for Araminta, biggest disappointment of everybody so far. I've never really found a set that works for her. She just doesn't work as a unit. Every time I bring her in against Earth units, they just counter and crit her and she dies. And I feel like there's nothing I can do about that. Like, theoretically, I could use Bassar first and remove everybody's buffs and then skill 3 with her. But at that point, you're better off using like anybody else, you know? You can't boost her either. There's just so many different problems with her, and it's really unfortunate because I love her to death. But anyway, this is the gear we're using. She's got a 19% crit weapon on with 50% crit. Again, this is my highest attack helm by a long shot, but it's only an eye level 70, and she loses a lot of HP because of it. Some other pieces of gear here. I went with attack speed. Didn't focus on crit rate, crit damage because you just can't with mages. You really just desperately need their defensive stats. As for the artifact, I went with Necro and Undying just because all my other artifacts were taken, basically. So I can't make her work. I try every single reset to make her work, and I just can't do it. I have no idea how to handle it. She always fails me, unfortunately. And the only team she's really used against that actually works are teams with like a collie and like double earth or something like that, you know, like something where she has 0% chance to be attacked. Here is the A Cartuja. I'm not very happy with him either. I feel like he just isn't tanky enough with his build and not fast enough either and not damagey enough. So I'll go through the gear as well. But I only tried him out once. The main thing is this effectiveness ring brings his effectiveness up, and I don't know if 94% is enough. Like I used him against I forget what. I tried to stun a Fein, and she like double resisted me with 96% or 94% effectiveness. So when something like that happens, it's just game over, right? So I'm not sure how to handle that. Maybe I need to give him a second run. Maybe that was just bad RNG. But this was the plan. The other problem with him is with my fast Violet. I've got my Violet at 213 speed. It goes after Violet, which feels really unfortunate. So it is what it is. As for our Lilias, I don't think we changed her whatsoever. I'm pretty happy with her gear, but right now she's kind of torn between offensive and defensive, and I think I need to make a decision. Like, she's got all this crit rate, all this crit damage, all this stuff, but you know, maybe this is okay. Maybe getting a little higher crit damage would be nice, but 210 speed, nearly 100% crit rate is pretty great. But again, pieces like this, my helm, are always lacking. This one does have 11 speed and some offensive stats, but it also means she has no HP percent on here, no defense percent on here, nothing of the sort. So it kind of makes her a little bit squishy. She's on Bastion of Pelusia. I really like to pair her up with a Vildred or with SSB just to get that defensive thing up. Another unit here is Alexia. Another one I haven't really been able to make good enough. So this is the set we're trying. We're on Alexinox's Wrath. That adds 34% crit rate. So that puts us up to 91% once this is all said and done, which is pretty okay. Because usually when you bring Alexia, you're in it for the long haul. This is the weapon. The helm, again, you can see my helms are just not very great. This is really holding up her defensive stats here. A little bit of everything here. And I was thinking about defenses, and I asked Sky King about it, and he kind of said with effectiveness here that the targets you want to dispel are either going to have like barely 0 ER or like 150. So you can't really build her effective enough to hit those high ER targets. So just a little bit of effectiveness is all you really need. So that's kind of why I went this route before. I had her at like 120 effectiveness, but honestly, that changed basically nothing against the high ER targets. Somebody like Elena, who puts up the ER buff, right? So this is kind of the sweet spot where I have enough HP, enough, a little bit of everything, you know? And most importantly, a lot of defense. My old build with her had low defense, and she just got bullied. Like, you're not supposed to bully the dragons, okay? And then the surprise hit. The Researcher Carrot with this mishmash of trash. But it worked. She was one of my best performing units. She outperformed Araminta. She slaughtered Araminta in terms of usability, actually. She did insane amounts of damage, and she was just all around really, really, really great. Obviously pretty slow, but I'm really, really, really impressed with her. We are using this weapon here, which is pretty unfortunate. Like I said, weapons and helms are always a problem for me. I level 70 as well, so we're losing all that flat attack. As for the helm here, another one that's not very great. It's basically just raw stats, which I guess is what she needs. Like, you desperately need defense and HP for mages, and there's no crit rate, no crit damage, so that's actually pretty decent for her, but it is what it is. And this one here, we're going for defensive stats, of course, trying to avoid crit rate, crit damage, because you just have to for mages unless you have god tier gear. As for the weapon, that's not a weapon. As for the amulet, attack percent, flat attack, effectiveness, ER would be so good if this was anything else. Like, if this was any of those other 3 stats, this necklace would be perfect for somebody like Araminta or her. A little speed would be nice too, but it is what it is. As for the ring, 119 flat attack, I will take it. 11 speed, 10 crit damage. Again, we would love to dodge the crit damage. This ring actually made me sad because roll 12 was flat HP, I think. and roll 15 was 4% crit damage. So this lost a lot of potential on the last 2 rolls. And we're using this just because it's got 29% health, because we need that health up there so flipping badly. And I couldn't find a 2-set that was better than this. I just couldn't do it again because my helms are so bad. We then got our Fallen CC, and this was another one I couldn't really decide on. I couldn't really get her fast enough, damagey enough, or anything. So I decided to go for basically just raw defenses instead of anything else and speed. Her defense is a little low, and that's a problem, but it's okay. This is the health weapon here, 34% HP. I'm okay with that. The helm here, health, defense, speed, attack, kind of a little bit of everything we need. I'm okay with this. The chest, speed, health, effectiveness. The neck, basically all the same stats. There's crit chance wasted on here, but it's okay. It's not wasted. I would just prefer defensive stats, I guess. Defense and stealth. As for the ring, 11 speed, 20 ER. I like a little bit of ER on some of my units. Sometimes it helps. And the boots, speed, HP, defense, crit chance. So she doesn't have the best of gear, but I felt like this 2-piece set was worth using. Again, if we had like some hit set somewhere, this would be much better, but I have no hit set weapon, or I have no hit set weapons for defensive stats. I have no hit set chests, and I have no hit set helms either. So I definitely learned a lot from my account doing these gears. We also have a Rabi, and this is another one I wasn't sure of. We went with a counter set. Usually I go speed set on my Rabi. She's on Crimson Speed, 7% ER. Her weapon has 34% health and 360 flat HP. Her helm, health, crit chance, crit damage, speed. Her chest, crit damage, defense, HP. Her necklace, crit damage, crit chance, health, defense, defense. Her ring, health, defense, crit chance, attack, health. And her booties, 34% health, 40 speed. So you can probably see what I was going for here. I would like a little bit more attack. I feel like she gets quite a bit of damage from just like 2.2k attack or something like that, but I couldn't get it with the defensive stats. She's also could use some ER, but there's just nothing I can do about that. I don't have ER gear whatsoever, so I just couldn't touch it. As for my Lorena, she's just sitting here for my lab team. So there's not really much to say about her. I basically just keep replacing her gear if anybody else needs it, because it doesn't even matter what gear she's on. She handles Hell Raid no problem. As for my A Momo, she's on Rod of Amaryllis, 184 ER, 181 speed, 15k health, 13.7 or 1.36k defense. So these are her stats. Again, helms are a big problem. We've got health, defense, and ER, but 23% attack is just pretty much wasted on her, but there's nothing I can do about that. Same here. Got some sick crit damage and crit rate on that one. Got some sick crit damage and effectiveness on this. So we're literally using this for 65% ER and 13 speed. I guess the effectiveness maybe might sleep somebody sometime. And then we're using these pair of boots. Pretty insane boots. I'm really happy with how these turned out. But I feel like I'd rather have them on somebody else. Somebody like Frontline and Center. We then have our Sita Menial. I haven't decided on our artifact. We've just got a +6 Agael's Tome. We're sitting here with just a lot of attack, a lot of crit rate, a lot of everything. I tried to get some defense too. As you can see here, that's why I went with the health set, just to get a little bit of HP percent, a little bit of health, a little bit of defenses, because I feel like she needs that to survive. I would like to get her actually higher than this, but I just couldn't do it with this Destro set. My Destro set is so offensive that it's just what I ended up with. As for my DeEscena, this is the first time I've ever used a counter DeEscena. I've used her once. She failed miserably, but I think that could have just been RNG. She never countered once. I just really hate relying on counter. It just never works for me. So we've got speed, health, ER, crit chance. By the way, she's got 57% crit chance. One of my best helms, actually. ER, health, crit chance, speed. This one here, we took away from Rabi, so we made our Rabi slightly worse to use here. As for our neck, 31% ER. This is why she's got 141% ER. As for the ring, pretty solid, but effectiveness doesn't really do anything for her. In fact, it does quite possibly 0. And we went with defense boots. I wasn't sure what to do here. I could make her 40 speed faster, but getting that 27% ER and getting the defense up feels really solid. Like I could have her at 160 speed or 154 speed and like 1200 defense, but losing that defense makes it so she just gets bullied. As for our Crowl, on Holy Sacrifice, Crowl gets the leftover gear. He's basically just on gear nobody else needs because that's all he really needs for gear. So that's why he's like this. I don't like my Crowls this low HP. Like I'd rather have my Crowls at 25k and slower, but this is just how this ended up. As for my Maid Chloe, Idol's Cheer, we did slightly change our Maid Chloe this time around. 19 speed weapon. One of my best helms, if not my best helm. Pretty solid chest too. The neck is trash. I really wish my neck was better. The ring is really solid as well, 13 speed, 14 ER. The boots are also pretty solid as well, so I'm really happy with this. If I just change this, I have a pretty solid Maid Chloe. A lot of people ask why I use Idol's Cheer, and if you go back in time in this video and look at my SSB, that is why my SSB is really slow and designed to pair with my Maid Chloe. We have our champion Cerrado here. I did build him. He is 100% just here for A11 soloing. I use him for nothing else. I don't use him for PvP whatsoever. So he's just on leftover gear nobody else is using. If somebody ever wants this, I will give it to them. Same with every other piece of gear. It's just something nobody else is touching right now. And he's not fully awakened either. As for the Dizzy, we took Dizzy off immunity because I realized I wasn't using her anywhere where immunity mattered. And honestly, I'm primarily using her for lab right now. So these are her stats. Like, look at this helm, 11 speed, flat attack, attack percent. I mean, the attack isn't terrible on her. I really do like offensive Dizzies with attack, but still. This is unfortunate, but it's what I have. This is also not the greatest, but it's what I have. So yeah, that's what I'm using on her. Not happy with it. Then we have our boy Kiki. Kiki's on Justice for All. Kiki was brought in once and got bullied, unfortunately. I didn't think with 2400 defense he would get one-rounded. I thought he would survive at least to get his skill 3 up. He unfortunately didn't, so it looks like we're going to have to give him more HP. But I wanted to go crit rate, crit damage Kiki just to see how much damage he did for funsie. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. It might still, but if we replace this with like HP percent here and maybe crit rate subs, crit damage subs, and defense percent subs, I think he would be in a much better slot, but I don't want to do that. I want to bully people with... we've then got our Oxlots, 237 speed. A lot of people ask me why my Oxlots is slow. 2 reasons. 1, my speed gear is atrocious. 2, I don't need my Oxlots to be 280 speed because I don't play like that and I can't get my speed up there anyway, right? So my speed, 237, is enough to go after any problem targets I will ever face. And if somebody does outspeed me, good on them. They have better gear and they deserve to win. So I'm going to be using my Oxlots against stuff like Maid Chloe, stuff like SSB, stuff like Charles, stuff like FCC. Exactly enough speed to be able to outspeed all of them with bad RNG. So I'm not worried about what his gear whatsoever. I just legit can't really get him faster than this realistic. Like I could get him 8 speed faster, but then I would take that ring off of Maid Chloe and he'd be up to 245, which IMO 237 versus 245 speed for what I do is 0 difference. Like actual no difference whatsoever between the two. Here's my Elena. I did make my Elena slightly worse because I stole the helm. This is unfortunately the helm I'm using on her. I will upgrade this maybe, but right now she does exactly what she needs to do, which is cast her skill 3 after getting Magar's tome up. She's never dying first turn, so like her gear doesn't matter outside of that. General Fergus. Good old boy Fergus is here with Proof of Valor, and he's just there to use as a light bait. I like to have 3 light baits at least for my Guild Wars, so that's why I have General Fergus, I have Kicker Rat, and I have Maid Chloe built up, just because, or Dark Baits, I guess I should say, just because they don't need the best gear. Like, you need the best gear if you want to survive, but you don't care if the unit survives, you can get away with not the best gear, and it allows you to build more light units, and you're still going to win those battles. So he's got 153 speed. I do like my Fergus. This is pretty good stats, by the way. I like these stats a lot. I do like my Fergus slower. I don't really care about him going fast because, like I said, if I don't build him with a ton of HP, he just gets bullied. And that's the only way I'm losing. Like, I'm not winning because my General Fergus goes fast and uses his skill 3. I'm winning because my General Fergus pushes other people up and survives. So these are her stats here. 24% ER is not much, but I don't care about his ER. It doesn't really matter. This piece could be replaced. Like, crit damage literally doesn't matter there too. Crit rate, crit damage doesn't matter at all either. And then the boots here, again, crit rate, crit damage doesn't matter. It's just what I've got for gear, and we're using this as well. 3% additional. We're also trying out lots for the first time. It worked out. If this was better, like if we had this upgraded, it would have been perfect, but I'm not willing to upgrade this. So I'm still going to try this out and see how often it fails me. So far, it's 1 out of 1 for failing me. So these are the stats he's on. Basically, I needed to get him to 225 speed. Like 220, 225 speed was my goal, but I couldn't do it. This was the best I could do. But it still seems to be working out. Like, he did do his job. He just didn't do it well, unfortunately. As for my Tamarin, she is here just for raid. So literally nothing else. I never use her outside of lab right now. This one I need to bring to 15, but I know it's going to be like 4% defense, so I don't want to hit that disappointment, so I'm leaving it at 12 for now. And that's it. Those are all the units right now I have geared up, and I'm really happy with pretty much everybody. A couple of them failed me, but like 1 out of 1 fail when you only try them once is not a big deal. So I have a ton of other gear. I need you folks to let me know which you think I should build and which you would like to see. Also, if you have any questions about my units or gear, just let me know in the comments or PM me on Discord. I can try to help you out there. These are the units I have here that are free to build. And basically everybody here is going to be used and equipped. So it's just going to be a priority system. All of these are going to have gear on them. It's just going to be a matter of who gets the better gear and what I use them for. I didn't build Charles because I don't have any Molagora for him, so it's just not worth it at this point. So any of those units I just went over, feel free to let me know in the comments if you'd like to see them for showcases or anything like that, and I can give them the best of my leftover gear, which is honestly pretty solid for a couple different unit types. Also, there are some things in my waiting room as well. So if you want to see, I don't know who's in here, if you want to see like Sid or Charlotte or Shuri or Vivian, or Haste, or yeah, those two don't count, or Clarissa or Collie, or Watcher Shuri, or something like that, let me know and I can also try to build one of those. And as a side note, I summoned 2 5-stars consecutively in on my Mystic summons, and I totally did not notice that this change to Balance is on. So I was summoning because I was like, you know what, I'll be okay with CC dupes. And I used 150 Mystic medals, so not 150 summons, just 150 Mystics, and I got Cecilia, and then I went to bed, woke up, and then pulled Balances on right after, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Anyway, let's do 4 summons here, just for a funsy at the end of the video. Let's just go to one little gold for everybody who stayed this long. We'll just go for 1 shiny. This is a terrible idea. If this cost me all my bookmarks, just 1 shiny. Oh my god, why would I do this? Why would I just waste my bookmarks? Just 1 shiny. 1 shiny, come on. Just 1. Just 1. Okay, 0 for 10, that's 50 bookmarks gone. How bad of luck do you have to get, Mango? Come on. Oh my god. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? Why did I do this? How can one get so unlucky? I haven't got a shiny yet. Come on, just 1 shiny. Okay, we got 1 shiny. Okay. So that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will talk to you folks later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody. That was a waste of bookmarks. You all suck for making me do that. Bye.